Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV.
America Open Market. AO Market. The best digital market for humanity is a free multilingual borderless market open to international sellers with various languages included. With America Open Market, you may start selling in minutes after filling out the form. Comprehensive dashboard where you understand your sales, orders, and customers is available. You get paid directly, securely, and instantly on the America Open Market. You can sell your house, car, electronic laptop, CD player, boombox, phone, headphones, furniture, and clothing, and anything on AmericaOpenMarket.com where all your sales and customer needs are met. Register as a merchant today. You will not regret becoming a vendor at America Open Market. For further inquiries, contact us at aomarket@gmail.com. AO Market, best digital marketplace for humanity. Hello, welcome to World Inkers Network. I'm Dustin Pickering, your noble and honest host. Today we have Sankha Sen. He's Indian and he's right now in Germany, and we're going to discuss his story, The Digital Scientist, which is in the Literary Parrot Series 3. If you're interested in picking up this volume, it's on Amazon. It has plenty of poetry and prose and innovative storytelling, as well as art you can enjoy. So Sankha Sen is here with us today in the studio. And welcome to the show, Sankha. How are you today?
Hi, Dustin. It's great to be back here again, and with our third series in the whole process. And yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me here, and I'm really glad to be here again and with our work. Yes, rightly as you said, this time I have come with a story called The Digital Scientist, and we are going to discuss about its feasibility and how it could really make a mark in the humanity in the upcoming days.
So we also wanted to talk a little bit, introduce the program about Parrot, the Literary Parrot Series 3. So what do you think of the volume? Have you had a chance to give it a good, steady review, and do you appreciate what's in there? What do you see that you like the most about the book?
Yeah, as you see, I have the book with me right here. Mm-hmm. So the cover is very attractive. It's quite colorful. The parrot looks even bigger now, and with this background of New York, it really makes a impact. And like the aspect of this book having global writers is truly really made here, and also the background of the like the backside with this beautiful leaves here and the plants. If the audience can see, the nature is always beautiful, and the book is quite handy. What I can see that this time World Inkers Printing and Publishing has also taken place in Senegal, Africa, along with New York, USA. So it has kind of a global publication in Africa and in USA. And there are some beautiful writings in this book, like a lot of beautiful poems from talented writers and poets across the globe. And it's again, I believe like last two books, this will again reach the top rating in Amazon. I truly believe that. So
Wonderful to produce it. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort, but we got it out on the market, and it's wonderful to see it flourishing and see what we
yeah.
can do with it. Let the parrot fly, as they say. Let the
Yes,
birds
yes,
fly
yes.
and see what happens. And so tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind your story, The Digital Scientist. I mean, what prompted you to think on this subject?
Yeah, if you have seen my different storylines, I actually have started with some romantic stories in Europe,
Hmm.
and then I moved out into something about your own consciousness, and maybe if you can meet yourself in some different universe, having this parallel universe concept. And then from there, I kind of kept on thinking like, what could be the next step towards the future. Let's say we have been talking about a lot of artificial intelligence nowadays, and what happens if we have, like, say, people like Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Isaac Newton, like, whether we can really meet their level of intelligence at all, whether this artificial intelligence can at all replicate them in sense, which means that, for example, the huge amount of mathematics, the huge amount of research which these geniuses have done,
Hmm.
why not, based on all the researches which you have actually been collecting as of today, if you can feed them into some algorithm, and why not kind of add an self-learning concept to this algorithm, and kind of float it in the cloud, so that it becomes kind of independent on its own and
Hmm.
tries to kind of find out different open areas in the research areas of humankind, and kind of automatically uh, like kind of moves in that direction. So no human intelligence would really point fingers to them. No professors will say, hey, kind of do your research in that directions, do your research in this direction. It would uh, kind of automatically search the new areas and try to go in that direction.
There a plot line about the DNA of the scientist who helped design this. What was that? What were you trying to say with that? That was very
uh,
interesting.
yes, if I tell the whole story now, I think that would be quite good. But I think I touched on like uh, saying that there would be some kind of identification required, kind of encryption concept, so that no one really kind of gets into the code and really hacks the code, something like that. I think I touched on, and
Mhm.
there is some concept like only a DNA sequencing or a DNA kind of encryption is allowed, wherein the creator of that algorithm can only go into it and change the thing. So something of that sort, I think I have touched, and it is actually a also a research topic, how to kind of secure your program and your software, so that only the creator with his DNA sequencing can look into it and change it, and or maybe also abort it, if it
Hmm.
goes to that extent. Yeah.
That's quite interesting. And so, as you're also an ambassador for World Inkers Network, and you've had discussions about your story with a lot of people. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you learned in the process of discussion
Yes.
of the story and who you
Thanks a lot.
discussed it with?
Yeah, thanks a lot for making me or selecting me as the ambassador for World Inkers. It is a privilege which I take in to kind of not only kind of portray our beautiful work, not only my work, but as a collective effort, with a lot of contributions from different artists across the globe. Recently, I have talked with this topic with a professor here in Germany,
Hmm.
and kind of discuss about the feasibility of this concept. He says that truly it is a very novel idea, but implementation of this is definitely a very big challenge. Of course, things like time machine, things like traveling across times and universes, these are all theories and fictions. But to make it really work in life, it requires a lot of or immense engineering expertise to kind of make it effective. So yes, I mean, I don't know whether someone else in the globe have come across with this kind of ideas, but
Hmm.
ideas come and go. But to make it really work, you require a lot of implementation skills and engineering kind of expertise. But moreover, without any idea, things will not really start. For example, the apple had to fall, then only Newton came up with the concept that why it is actually falling down. Yeah. So things has to be observed, and kind of ideas needs to glow in your head. Then only you'll find a direction in which direction you really want to move. So I,
Sometimes fictions can, also reveal a little bit about human nature and how we interact and what kind of people we are and what and under what kind of conditions. You're exploring an idea, you're putting a context to an idea and seeing what happens with the character as it progresses. Did you learn anything in that regard when writing this story?
Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, if you put things in a kind of a blank formula, mathematical formula, this would not reach the masses. The masses will really tell that, oh, I'm not good at maths, or I don't understand all these formulas and all. So they'll just put it aside, this book. But if you can convert this idea into some kind of real life story, so they can relate themselves in that story and really imagine the consequence of this idea. So that will really have a better impact with the masses, rather than just showing them the formulas. If you fulfill these formulas, then things will work out. So I think these ideas should be actually, uh, in order to reach the masses, stories like this, fiction stories, should be actually encouraged. And I did, I just kind of gave up my best to come up with this storyline, keeping the ideas there so that people could actually relate with these ideas and maybe find it interesting. And who knows, it might reach some researcher or some scientist or engineers. They might find it even more interesting and might also study this even in a more detailed way. And who knows, he might also start his research work in that direction. So
Right. I mean, an idea has to be proposed somehow and introduced into the world somehow, and what better way than through an imagination and through fiction,
sure.
writing something that would be it's like a proposition of sorts. You're like, hey, this could be a potential thing we could do, and a lot of times, I mean, that a lot of ideas that especially like in a lot of science fiction, and some of it to some degree, it does come to reality.
Yes.
I mean, like Journey to the Moon and things like that. I mean, it's we never expect to to land on the moon, and you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very interesting how fiction can become reality. And then as
Yes.
a side note, a lot of the dystopian fiction that's been written over the years, actually, we see a lot of those tendencies coming true now. It seems like they tried to warn us, like, look, if we go this direction, this is what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened.
So I think like this theoretical physics, which is kind of also part of this modern physics, is also to some extent a lot of fictional ideas are there,
Hmm.
which is actually mathematically proven though. Things like string theory and multi-universe and all these things, like even the space-time concept, which Einstein really talked about. Later on, the bending of the light across mass was
Hmm.
also proven. So it took years to kind of come to this kind of conclusion. Even like people flying some kilometers away from the ground also experience some differences in times, which also kind of goes in the direction of Einstein's theory. Like time also changes. So these are the kind of these things are like experiments. And the results of these experiments kind of abide by these theories
Hmm.
of a theoretical physicist, which really at that particular time it's totally not possible to prove. You can deduce the whole concept logically, if this happens, then that can actually happen. Yes, the deductions can be proven, but truly the feasibility or like the experimentation can actually uh, give a full proof to the theory.
Hmm.
So there are so many theories there, like as I mentioned, and I would be really amazed if in my lifetime I would really kind of experience those theories coming to life, and people really traveling through years, positive and negative. So in sense like they can also move to future, go to past, or maybe move to different universes through wormholes and meet themselves in some different universes. So these are all crazy ideas, but
Hmm.
logically are proven might also happen. And if those days come in my lifetime, I'd be really glad.
Be interesting to see what we're capable of as people, creating, and what makes up the entire, physical plane that we live in,
Yeah,
and as we kind of experiment with it and see what results we can find. And as you mentioned, I wanted to mention also, like sometimes that, we have individual scientists who come up with ideas, and all their ideas sort of conglomerate to like you know, uh, a broader theory. I even heard, I can't remember the scientist's name. He's a theoretical physicist, and he came up with this idea of cosmic Darwinism. So he
yeah, yeah,
applied Darwinian theory to sort of how the astrophysics, and sort of, it's very interesting. Like, it's a very broad theory that he applied, and it's really pretty fascinating. I
yeah,
wish I could remember his name off the top of my head. I think it was Skolin or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's fascinating how, ideas can be present in our world, and how we can bring them to reality just through, art. Art can be
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
early phases of ideas, and so forth. So, what are you planning your next go around on your writing? What do you have anything
Yeah,
you're working on?
I actually am really looking out to some out of the box topics, like which are not so traditional, because traditional topics really don't catch the attention of masses.
Hmm.
I'm still on a search of trying to see what kind of concept I really try to kind of bring in my next story. It can also be like a little more scientific, or it can also relate to kind of the human emotions, because inside a human being, in his mind, so millions of concepts are kind of moving every millisecond. So how to kind of capture those, and maybe this is also something which I'm now thinking about, wherein people can relate more to their human mind, and let's see if I can kind of frame a story across such ideas. And also, it might also happen that I totally come across very new, innovative scientific idea, and also kind of turn that into a beautiful story. So things are still open,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. What is the role of your own personal emotions in your storytelling? Do you channel your emotions into something when you're writing it, or does there like do you kind of detach and just write the story? How does that work for you?
no, when I write a story, I kind of put myself into the characters, and as if I'm the person doing that, what I'm actually like writing. So in that sense, it gives lot of possibility to
Hmm.
kind of capture the imaginations, like rather than kind of isolating yourself from the whole concept and looking it as an outsider. So I think it makes it is more it's really easier for a writer to kind of become one of the characters, and then he can really imagine through his own mind and visualizes the scenarios in which he really wants his character to be in. So I do it that way.
We're going to take a brief break, but we'll be back with a reading from the Digital Scientist. Thanks for joining us today. Remember, you can comment and ask questions during the program while we have Sankha Sen on here today. Thanks for joining us. Are you curious about financial literacy? Then take a look at Professor Anthony Rivecchio's new program on Parrot TV. It's called Financial Focus University. This is an excellent program to learn about questions related to your own finances post-COVID, if how you can manage your money, how you can work with your tax situation. And this is an excellent and informative discussion of financial literacy. With Professor Anthony Rivecchio, your financial problems will be solved at Parrot TV with Financial Focus University. Welcome back to World Inkers Network after that quick break. And remember, you can subscribe to our channel as you're watching here on YouTube. And if you're watching at our World Inkers group, please feel free to leave comments, questions, anything you want to say during the program, including questions for Sankha himself, if you want to ask what his process is, or you want to ask about the ideas he's presenting in his story. So Sankha, without further ado, let's put you on here and get you to read a little bit of your story.
Yes, of course. As you can see in this book, it's not easy to see. It's like all coming white. If you can get if you can get a hold of the book, go to the page number 128. There you'll find my story, The Digital Scientist. So I'll just read the first para and the last para maybe. So it was raining very hard. The rains were falling just like arrows, as if the heaven was raging in anger. Somewhere something wrong has happened. Premonition was knocking my intuition. What could have gone wrong? I was in the Berlin S-Bahn. Human sixth sense is all what helps one to perceive his or her existence. Human brain cells can execute many parallel activities, eventually enhancing the multiprocessing capabilities of the human brain. One thought keeps on haunting me. Does human rely more on rational thinking or on extrasensory perceptions, ESP? This compromise is what makes one judge the situations almost accurately, but I guess we cannot totally deny the possibility of telepathy. So this actually speaks about different ways where we can really catch hold of our sixth sense, and how does our intuitions really play a role here. So there are different interesting paragraphs in this book. For example, as Dustin was also telling, like this would also, I'd like to kind of bring it forward. This goes like this. In the initial definitions, preprocessors part of the software, I've added clauses of security protection where my genetic samples would be required to unlock the full automation or to abort the software. That's why the software was working partially and could not use its full capacity. Once it finds my DNA, then it would ask whether I would load the full automated capability or would quit the software. The software can only be enhanced or stopped from the device from where it was initiated. One idea struck my mind. If the news was published that the software could not reach its fullest capability until my DNA encryption was done, then the hacker would try to make himself or herself available to get my DNA codes either to stop or enhance the software. So this kind of touches across the different encryption models which we have, and this one really caught my attention, and I tried to kind of touch on this area and kind of bring it to your attention. And the last part, I would like to end the story like this. I said human intelligence can concentrate on one more human-like activities which no algorithm can replace, like concentrate more on their emotional aspects and enjoy the fruits of the findings which digital scientists would go on providing the mankind. Thereafter, science would take the responsibility to enhance the knowledge and succeed in its quest to know the unknown. After I answered the question, I tried to look closely to see his face, but he was gone. A strange thought blew past my mind. Was he behind everything? What happened? I still don't know.
Hmm.
So,
So what kind of research or outside reading did you do to sort of get this concept rolling of the AI and the cloud and so forth? How did you conceive this process?
yeah, actually, I see a lot of like YouTube videos and do a lot of research readings and all.
Mm-hmm.
I have really very less time to really dive the into the mathematics of it, and I kind of touch on the concepts in sense like whether I can convert them into some kind of stories. There are some beautiful videos where a theoretical physicist has actually uh, through some different stories or some drama concepts have actually come across the effects of this kind of theoretical aspects in sense like the theories which has been kind of written in a book, he kind of explains them in a very beautiful way so that a common man can understand, saying that what happens if a person, if you see yourself 3 4 times, which means that you are actually in 3 4 dimensions or in 3 4 universes and all doing different aspects. So this kind of concepts are very unique to kind of convert them into a story. So I watch a lot of videos in YouTube and also in all the scientific magazines and I'll do a lot of readings. And from there, when I get a very unique idea, and on top, I also kind of try to see if I can add something more to that, and this really makes it uh, make it unique. And then I kind of come across a kind of a frame of story so that I can convert this idea into a common language so that a common person can also understand.
So you just sort of do a lot of reading and research, and as the process goes along, the ideas sort of start accumulating, and they, you kind of apply it as you're reading. You don't have a storyline in mind when you go out and do research. As you're researching, the ideas start coming to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't start from the story sense like that, but I start from a unique idea, and based on that unique idea, I kind of build up my story across it. Because that unique idea is kind of the selling point, and you can build your atmosphere, you can build your scenes across it, and you can add some more real life experiences, like you can add some more scenarios of the cities. And for example, this time I have used Berlin because I was in Berlin and I know how things work there, and there's some real life aspects I've added there. Similarly, if you have read my first book, I've added a lot of real life experiences from Switzerland, from Austria, and all. So this is sometimes I also use. Yeah.
So is place really important in your work, or do you find that that's sort of subsidiary to what you're trying to say?
You mean to say my professional work?
Yeah. You're like, do you think it would make any difference if you were to take the same story, say taking place in Berlin, and maybe transpose it to I don't know, New York City or something? Do you think place is really important in your work? Does it give it foundation?
Yeah, I mean the location really helps because it also helps the readers to kind of imagine how life would be in Berlin. So if he has not got a chance to be in Berlin, so reading my book, he can kind of imagine himself being in Berlin, and it gives some kind of a pleasure. And once he kind of find a chance to be in Berlin, then he can relate my story and say that yes, this is what I read in my story. So it's kind of a learning for a person who has not been in different cities, and also location helps in generating an interest for the readers. to kind of read more and find out what more is kind of awaiting them. So that's why I think I prefer adding location in my stories. Yeah.
That's interesting, and so it gives a little bit of character to the story, and I think it helps people think a little bit about where that place and maybe do some background research and read about
Exactly.
it, the place themselves, like spark some interest in and give it dimension.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. So do
So
you when you presented this to your friends in Berlin, I believe you said professors in Berlin, and your reaction was, this is a really tricky concept. It's very it might be difficult to enact, but it's an interesting idea. Did they comment on the your theoretics of the idea? Did they say, okay, well that's interesting, maybe we could work on this, or any
yeah.
particular thing that they found intriguing about it?
Yes, I happened to kind of meet one prof in the recent days. You might have seen in my Facebook post. So I discussed this story with him, and he's actually a prof in this particular direction. And he said that yes, the idea is it's quite good and also interesting, because that currently artificial intelligence is something which is kind of taking the human being and mankind in general, saying that things which can be automated, and in what way can a human come out of this responsibility of kind of pushing him in the direction of research. So why not kind of automate that whole thing, and human can concentrate on some other thing. So artificial intelligence is a very hot topic currently, and he said that yes, this is a very kind of challenging idea. That's how he kind of thought, and he said that why challenging, because it's nothing like you can simply put 10 lines of code and your algorithm will really start working. It requires a lot of kind of mathematics to that, and algorithms, and whether at all it will be feasible to come out of from engineering point of view, to come out with a proper code or a software. That's also also a challenge. But from ideas starts a direction, it gives an directions, and who knows, at some point maybe that direction will kind of be taken by some young scientists, and he might come out with a proper software out of it, and everything is open for the future, and these ideas are nothing but directions. Yeah. So
what else in the series 3, the literary parrot, did you find anything else particularly interesting that stood out to you?
yes, I actually happened to read out a poem. There are some beautiful poems in the book, and I happened to read out one by Chuck Joy. It's called Books. So it goes like this: everybody in the neighborhood knows where I am headed, trudging steadily uphill, two books cupped in each hand. A rock-solid guess, I'm on my way to the little free library. I'm shy about drawing a crowd. Can you imagine what books the neighbors imagine me dropping off? An incredible memoir from a physician, and the Evelyn Waugh would surprise no one. They can see I'm excited walking away, the neighbors watching me, the hop in my step, like a guy who hit the jackpot. But they can't see the book I found, a thriller set in Europe I last read at 19 years old. This is something which I kind of liked. And even Chuck Joy wrote another poem which is pretty small. It's called Chicago. Who needs Chicago? We can grill beef. There's a radio. Maybe we have no creamed spinach. We have no elevated trains either. So quite short and quite
Pack the
meaningful.
punch, bang bang.
Bang punchy, yes, truly.
So, what are your plans for the future in your writing, and do you have anything you want to share with the conclusion of the program with the audience?
Yes, actually, there are a lot of requests coming. As you know, that I write in 3 different languages,
Mhm.
like writing in Bengali and English and also in German. So, but writing in English, it has a very big mass, and then the reach is pretty high. So if you write in English, it reaches the whole world. Rather, if you write in Bengali, it reaches uh, your own Bengali people. But of course, the ideas, some traditional ideas in Bengali can only be explained in Bengali, and so I think I kind of segregate this kind of cultural aspects and kind of find a suitable concept for English-speaking community, and I kind of try to find a suitable concept for a Bengali-speaking community and also for German-speaking community. So that's where I kind of differentiate the different poems or stories. Yes, of course. My next plans are some more poems in English, and as you have seen or read my books, you must be also doing a review now. Currently, I believe, of my books.
Mhm.
I kind of try to go in this direction of knowing yourself, finding yourself, the me in you.
Mhm.
Um, like it's not an identity crisis, but it's knowing your own identity. In those directions, I kind of do a lot of thinking and research as well, and added to that some out of the box ideas, which has not, to my knowledge, maybe have been researched somewhere, but it's also limited to my knowledge. Maybe it has been researched somewhere else. So I try to find out those, and then kind of try to add some locations to that, add some real life experiences that, and there comes out a story. So my plans are some poems, some articles also. As you know, I have written article on hunger as well, some
Mhm.
related topics currently, which is there in the world, happening currently. This crisis, there are different modes of crisis.
Mhm.
May it be energy, may it be health and poverty and stuff like that. So I'd like to kind of write in that direction as well, so that like the mankind finds a place where they can also show their sympathy, and also from my side, I find a peace that I could actually do something for the whole world. So one is like social aspect, one is innovation, and one, of course, the art part of it.
Mhm.
These 3 things I try to kind of mix.
You want to share any shout outs or thank yous at the end here?
Of course, and I would like to thank the audience and the
Mhm.
spectators for being with us. And please be with us with World Inkers Network. And we have beautiful host Dustin Pickering with us. He's a very talented person. Himself, he writes poems and stories, and so he's bandwidth with all the writers and like poets across the globe is really brilliant. And please try to be with us and encourage us for our upcoming ventures, so that we can kind of bring, may it be innovation, may it be social aspects, may it be pure art and literature into your plates, and I'm pretty much sure you will love it, love all of them.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Sanka, and just keep up with the good ambassador work and the writing of the science fiction and ideas for generating ideas for the world. And hopefully, we'll get some future based thinking going on and solve some of these contemporary issues we're facing today. Thanks again for joining us on the program.
Thanks a lot for having me.
You've been watching World Anchors Network. And if you haven't seen the whole program, go back and watch again and let me know what you think of the addition of our music here. You can headbang to this one. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, you can support us too as well financially. You can send us some money at this address here, paypal.me/nyparrot. That'll be something to consider if you have a little extra money. If you want to get something back for your money, why don't you go out right now, get on Amazon, and buy the Literary Parrot Series 3, edited by myself, Dustin Pickering, and MUTIU OLAWUYI. It'd be a wonderful addition to your collection, I assure you. And you can also send a bio and a headshot, as you see at the bottom here of the banner. If you want to be featured on the show, you can get in touch with me at publication.worldinkers@gmail.com. Don't forget that dot. Some people do, and it goes somewhere else. I don't know. It gets lost in the news sphere or something. I don't know what happens to it. But anyway, thanks for joining us today, everybody. And I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And if you haven't done any writing today, I know you want to. So please, just get on there and do some writing, some reading, some research, and whatever else you want to do. And thanks to all our comments today. Thank you for being a part of the program. You are just as much a part of it as our guest, and we love to hear from you. So without further ado, I want you guys to get up and get back on Facebook and waste some time there. And then we'll see you next time on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, enjoy this commercial. Thank you for watching. America Open Market, AO Market. The best digital market for humanity is a free multilingual borderless market open to international sellers with various languages included. With America Open Market, you may start selling in minutes after filling out the form. Comprehensive dashboard where you understand your sales, orders, and customers is available. You get paid directly, securely, and instantly on the America Open Market. You can sell your house, car, electronic laptop, CD player, boombox, phone, headphones, furniture, and clothing, and anything on AmericaOpenMarket.com, where all your sales and customer needs are met. Register as a merchant today. You will not regret becoming a vendor at America Open Market. For further inquiries, contact us at aomarket@gmail.com. AO Market, best digital marketplace for humanity.
The prisoner. I can still smell you on my pillowcase, in the comforter and sheets. Thought about doing laundry, but decided to keep you with me just a little while longer. Riding giants. Each new love affair is like standing in front of a 50-foot wave. It looked doable from shore. Gifts. The son of a bitch left me broke and blacked out, with a stripper's name written.
Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot.